Good evening, everyone. This is Jean. Welcome to my channel. I'm here this evening for a really fun tutorial and also to give you a little follow-up for the previous video that I did with the little booklets that I had made for journals. These little booklets are perfect for you to add a few little pages or some images and tuck them inside your journal pockets. One of the things that I like to do is actually stick them inside or on the top where I put my closure. If you have a closure that's ribbon or lace or something of that nature, you can just tuck it in there as an extra little surprise. So this is the one that I did on camera. These two that I have here, I finished these up and I used some of Kim Newberg's images. This is from her Girls Around the World collection, I believe, and her coffee shop is always listed in my description. So if you want to check these out, you're welcome to. And then this one has more of a vintage feel to it. And what I tried to do with these is kind of rough up the photos so they looked vintage, and also ink them real well so they would give you that feel of old portraits that you might find in a chest or in a box that someone had stored. This one is a little blonde girl, and she looks just so pretty with this fabric and the trims. And you don't have to have these specific things. There are ways for you to make trims out of whatever fabric you may have on hand. For example, these little ruffles that are underneath these roses, I made by hand. And the little roses here that I made by hand, and it's just a gathering stitch and then kind of some adjusting so it kind of looks like a flower or a rose. Added a little gold glitter to it to brighten it up some. And on this one, the lace goes on the inside. Now, a neat thing about these is that if you want to put a pocket on the inside, you can. That way you can tuck all your goodies in here. You don't have to make it be just a notebook or a journaling book. You can certainly add your pockets and cute little tags or what have you. So these were so fun to make, and I love them. And I only made 5, but if I had more prepared, I'd definitely sit down and do a whole handful again because they're so fun to work with. So if you're interested in any of the images, they are either found on my Kofi site or Kim Newberg's Kofi site. So that's just a little follow-up from my previous video. What I wanted to share with you today, I've been noticing a lot of the art journalists creating some things with the business-sized envelopes, specifically the ones that have a window in them. So I have a couple here. This particular window envelope has 2 windows. Sometimes you can get them where the whole thing is a window, or you get one with just a small window, or sometimes, like I have there, you get one that has 2 windows. Now, with this particular project, it's up to you how you want to do it. If you only want to use one of the windows, you can, or you can arrange your design so that you can have two of the windows that you use and you use as your focal point. So the basic process of this, and I'll just start with this one. I wanted to mention when I tea dyed some of these, for some reason, I thought it would be a good idea to add a drop of essential oil to my tea dyeing mixture because I thought I would enjoy the smell. And I guess the oil mixing with the tea dye and the water made this kind of yellowing stain. Not something I'm really fond of, but we're going to be covering these envelopes, so it shouldn't be a big issue. So the first thing you need is some type of paper that you like, that you want to use as a focal point that will show through those windows. So I just picked this green, excuse me, and this one happens to be already cut at the side. So what I'm going to do is just stick this in so that you can see it through both of the windows. Now, what you can do at this point then is just take a little bit of your glue, and you can do this whichever way you feel comfortable. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to run some across the back of this, and then when I stick it in the envelope, it will adhere to the back of the envelope. So let me see if I can still get it in there nice and smooth with the glue on it. And then I'm just going to press this down so that I know it will seal well. Now, don't be worried by the fact that this side is open, because we will correct that in a moment. So after you get the vision of what you want showing through your windows, now it's time to decorate the outside of your envelope. One of the greatest things things that you can do, and it's even kind of an exercise in collage and design, is going through your snippet box or your offcut box that you have. We all have them, where we don't want to throw away certain papers, and just find which ones kind of combine or look nice together with this. So if we're looking at this focal point, we have a little bit of pink and of course green, and this is kind of a vintagey feel. So I have over here, I've been so in love with these papers that I had designed previously in one of my videos. And so I've been using some of them, and then I have some printables, and I have some other pieces of paper over here. Here's a really pretty tea dye. And there's a couple different papers we can use. But one of the decisions, if you will, that you may have to make when you are designing this envelope is whether or not you want to trim out the whole window, meaning lay your paper specifically right around the edge, or if you want to do something a little more creative and have some of the window covered by the paper that you add. Now, I printed out some of these floral images that Kim Newberg has on her website, and she has a ton of them. It's a huge, huge collection. So I printed out these 4 because I like the more pinkish colors in them. And then I printed out another one of, these are just in tag shapes. So I'm going to set that one aside, and I'm going to show you, we'll set this aside for right now, and I'm going to show you an envelope that I already started and give you an idea of how you can begin to decorate this. Now, with this particular envelope, this is the one that I was telling you that it came out with that yellow stain when I tea dyed it. So one of the things that I used was I used some, this is paper from a tea bag. So if you dry your tea bags and then you carefully open them up at the top where the staple is, and you empty the tea and you flatten these out, you have a really nice size piece of tea paper that you can use to help to decorate your project. So what I did with this one is I took some of these floral images and I made them show through the window like I wanted, you know, what parts I wanted to show through the window. And so those are glued down. And then I started to take strips of the other ones and lay them down so that not only do they cover the majority of the space, but they also go a little bit into the window. I also covered around the window some of this tea paper so that I could get the same color. And if you see right here, I'll just bring this up a little bit closer. If you can see along the edges here, I left some of the tea paper stick out because I think that's going to add to kind of the shabby vintageness of the tag. So that is the process to actually cover your window. However, we have spaces here that need covered and the top that needs covered. So what I'm going to do is, since this design is kind of botanical, I'm going to use some papers that have more of a botanical feel to them. Now, I really like these green ones here, but the only concern that I have is that they're done on white paper. So let me see what else I may have here. These are kind of, I love these book pages, but I'm not sure about how that's going to look with that. So let me see. I had a little strip of green paper here that has that similar floral that the other one did. But I think it's enough of a contrast that it will look good. So I'm going to put it right, I'm trying to see where my envelope ends, right here. Okay, let me see. I'm going to go ahead and put this one on the bottom. Now, as you can see, it does cover up some of my strips here that I've already used to cover the window. But that's going to be okay. Let me just check something. Actually, I can lift these up and I can put this paper underneath, and let's see how that would look. Not my favorite. So I'm just going to cover this up with this green, or maybe this green. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to use the little green check at the bottom. And I'm going to put it just at the very, very bottom of this first window, if you can see what I'm doing here. And then I'll smooth it out. And then on the back, all I need to do is take my scissors and trim that off right here. And right here. Just use your envelope as a guide to trim that off. And there we have the very bottom. Now, I will have to look at this and eyeball it and make sure that it is straight, because that's something that will nag at me if it's not. And I'm going to glue down these other pieces right here so they don't cause the bottom strip to come up. So let me see. It does look like it's off by a hair. So let me bring it down a tiny bit, and then what I'll do is when we're all finished, I'll trim it with my trimmer. Okay, so that piece is added. Now there's a need for a little piece right here. So let me see. We'll take just this piece and lay it right here and see how that works. Now, I usually cut these unless I'm doing the torn edge around the envelope. I'll usually cut these with my cutter because I want them to be straight. But this particular paper allows for it has squares, so I can tell if it's straight or not by cutting it where the little squares are. So I'm going to put this piece on top of here, and then I'll trim it later. So here we have the bottom done. Now the top, I like to put just a plain design on the top, and let me look for something that's a little more colorful. I have a stack of scrapbook paper and paper that I've designed, and it's always nice to have a selection of those on hand. So I'm looking for something that's going to have, oh, this green's kind of nice, that's going to have like a botanical feel to it. I don't know what I have in here. This is more like a southwest, and just green, regular green. We want something pretty, right? So okay, I think we'll use, just for the time being, we'll use this green. And I'm going to put it on the top right here. And what I'm actually doing, and I didn't want to have to do this, but it looks like unless I put down, actually I could do that. So I'm going to bend this right here, and I'm going to cut it with my cutter. And what this will allow me to do is to, I didn't want to have to cover up any part of the window. So if I do it like this, where I put a strip up the side, right here, then we can keep the integrity of the window for the other part. So I'm going to actually, I'll just ink this when I'm finished. I'm going to put this right here so that it will cover up this window just to the top. And I think that green kind of looks nice with that. Does this have a double side? No. Okay. So, I don't like this piece, so bear with me a second while I fix this piece. What I'm going to do is just tear it a little bit so that when I lay it down and I ink it, find my ink. Oh, and my daubers look so ugly. I put some washi tape on them so they wouldn't look so rough. I've got paint on them. I've used these daubers for everything, for painting, for all kinds of stuff. So I'm going to put this on so that it kind of just covers this right here. And this I'm going to fix in a few minutes. So let me just leave that right there for now. I like that better torn instead of just straight across. And then I'm going to add something else to the side. And I'm wondering if a piece of sheet music might look nice. So let me make sure it's going the right way. And I like that idea of it being torn on the edge so that when it goes onto the green, it will be torn. And this little streak of pink or orange on here just adds a nice effect to match over this way. So let me ink this just to define it a little bit. I will ink this other side once I'm completely finished with the project. So let me lay this right here. Now, it's okay that this doesn't go up all the way to the top, and I'll explain to you why in just a little bit. So you'll see that it doesn't have to go all the way to the top. So now I'm going to just add this piece of sheet music. I do need to bring it down a little bit so that it covers the top of that window, and over a little bit so that I don't want to see that yellowing on the side of the envelope. Okay, very nice. I like that. Looks really good. Now, what I'm going to do at this point is I'm just going to go around my whole envelope design, and I'm going to ink the sides, and that way it'll bring everything together and make everything look uniform, or at least it just gives it kind of like a finishing touch to it that always looks nice. I'm going to put some right on top of this sheet music. And here we have the final design. Now, what we're going to do in addition to this is do a little bit of decorating, but we have to do some trimming. So I'm going to trim about, I'd say, an inch or inch and a half off the top, because most journals that you do, unless you're doing a what they call a tall skinny journal, you usually don't want your envelopes to be super large, because they won't fit in a standard size journal, or they will be too tall and stick out the top, and not everybody likes their tags to stick out the top. So let me just trim the top into a tag shape. And those can go. And then I'm going to take my walnut stain and just go over these cut edges again. And this one. Go in here and see if I can get a little bit of darker color in here. Okay, that should be good. So I'm going to finish that. Now, when you get to this point, you get this very interesting look of this tag. Now, when we need to cover the back, of course, and I think I'm just going to use some regular kind of, it's some journal paper that does have a nice tint to it, and it has words. So I am going to glue this on the back because we want to have as much journaling space as possible. You know, that I'm always looking for ways that I can add extra journal space to my designs. So let me add this piece right here and just smooth it down. And then we will cut it out. And then we'll ink it around the back one more time. So here on the back, just a nice clean piece of journaling paper, journaling spot there. And I'll go around the edges of this and make sure it has that same brown tint on each side. I just changed my pads on my daubers, so I hope it shows through. So now here we have, oh, this was just a little bit bigger, I think. Now you have the decision with this particular envelope as to how you want to finish it off. I will show you two that I have finished that are in two different styles. And this one was one of the windows that was just a single large window. So I used some of those wildflower images that Kim had and some stenciled book paper and just made a big fat tag. Okay, nothing special to it, doesn't have any pockets, just has this pretty window with this rose printable in it. Now, I finished it off just with a standard hole and a seam binding top. And now this one is a little bit different. I used some more of Kim's wildflower designs, but I took some acetate leaves. stickers, and I put them so that they kind of went over some of the window. And then instead of making a whole tag, I bent this over, the top over, and this can be a pocket. So I was thinking, since the background is relatively neutral, if you wanted to stick any kind of little tag or something pretty that'll show additionally through the window, you can. Really, the sky's the limit with these as far as what you can add or how you can design them. This flap is sealed down, so the back has the tag part in it, and then I just trimmed it with a little yellow trim to match. So this is, I think, my favorite one. You can also, if you want to additionally make yourself a cute little pocket here on the back, you could make a triangle piece and just tuck things in it. I think that would be really cute. For this one, I think the best thing to do is just make this into a regular tag, and then we'll do some decorating on it. So if you decide to make it into a regular tag, you just have to glue the top together of your envelope, and that way you have everything sealed down and covered. Let me see if this needs to be down a little bit more. Sealed down and covered, and then we have the back done, so we're all good there. Let me take a little bit more of this distress ink. And there's all kinds of designs that you can use for a topper for your tag. You can do the standard hole with a ribbon like I did on these two, or you can take something like a tab and put on it, which I think would be really cute as well if you had a tag or a little tab that you could put on it. And if you want to decorate it any further, you can do that as well, which is what I'm going to do with the bottom of this. Let me see. I'm going to use some of the embroidered trim, but I'm going to use this wider trim. I'm going to use the green. And I'm just going to put this right at the bottom and cut it right here. Right at the bottom. This I'll need more heavy duty ink, or I'm sorry, glue. And so this kind of eliminates this issue right here where the pieces don't exactly match. Make sure I get it on the... Actually, okay, I think this is the right way. And that covers up any kind of boo-boos that you might have made there at the bottom, or I made. That's the wonderful thing about trims and laces, is they can cover up things that you don't necessarily want to see. So that looks cute, but I think it needs something up here to kind of brighten it up a little bit. With all the green and the tan, I think it needs something else. So another really cool thing to do with these is if you do kind of like a patchwork design, you can always sew them. You can go around the edges and sew them, and that helps them to not only gives it a cool look, but it also allows you to make sure that all these pieces stay down. So I'm going to, let me look. I have some of these butterflies that I got recently from Temu, and I don't know if you can see, and I'll bring this up a little bit higher, but in this particular window, there's like a burgundy, and so I think these burgundy butterflies would look really nice. And I'm also going to use some type of leaf here. If I can get to my leaves, they're right here. So let me see which one. This one looks kind of nice. So I'm going to put this one down and decorate the top a little bit. Just going to put it like that. And then I am going to add a butterfly. And I'm not sure if I have another size butterfly that I can add that might be a little bit smaller. But we all love butterflies. So these acetate stickers, I didn't think that I would like them, but I do, because they actually go down really smooth. And I like them better than having the stickers with the white border. Those kind of bug me. Okay, let's see what else we have in the pink side. Is this one a little bit smaller? No. Let me just take these out. I don't want any of the floral ones. And that's floral. Let me hold this one aside over here. The floral. This is kind of not the right color. This one is kind of pretty, and I think would look nice down here. The trickiest part is to get them to unstick. So we're going to put this one down here, and then that will also help us with that little boo-boo there. And then I think we need something right here. So I don't know if I want to use another butterfly. Let me see what other colors this little kit has. Oh, this one's really pretty. To kind of go right here. Let me put another piece of greenery so it looks like it's flitting on top of some flowers or bushes. And these go really nice with the wildflower images. So what I think would be really nice is the tags that I showed you with these. If you wanted to, I'm going to show you how I would use those. Give me just a second if I can get this unstuck. Oh, fiddle. There it goes. So I'm going to put this piece right here, and then I'm going to put this butterfly right there. And I think this brightened it up a little bit. It needed something. It seemed like it was a little dark. So there we go. We have a really cool design. Now with this one, I'm trying to think of how I want to do the top. I don't know if I have any green seam binding over here. I do have a piece of this kind of greenish lace. So let me go ahead and poke a hole. Now this is going through 2 layers, so if you don't have a very good, I don't have my crocodile crocodile with me. So let me put this in. Now, a lot of people have techniques for tying bows. If I tie my bow upside down on my project, it usually comes out the way I want it to. I am not good at twisting it and doing all that fancy stuff, so. All right, let's tie here. Okay, here I'm going to just do this right here. These scissors are probably not going to work. I need to clean those. They're all gooped up. So there you go. There's a really cute tag. And I think the butterflies really help to make it look more interesting. Now on the back, what I was mentioning to you that we could do, and staying within, let me see if I have a smaller piece of the, maybe we'll use this. I'm going to cut this. And I'm going to put it right here. Now, as you can see, it's going to be too long, so I'm just going to fold it in. Fold it in a little bit less than that. Right here. Okay, now with that folded in, I'm going to use a little bit better glue. And it's just going to make a little, I'm only going to glue the bottom and the side. So it'll make like a corner pocket to put in other things that you want to put in your tag. If you want to make this on the back, you can. And it's sufficiently large, the tag itself, that even though we have the edges where they are glued, it's still going to be a nice roomy pocket, as you can see. Pardon me. So what I would do then is I would take some of these, I thought I laid my other scissors right in this box, but I might have been cutting something and missed. Oh, there they are. So I'm just going to cut these down by hand and just do one for now so you all can see how this will look. And just trim this off the bottom. And here we have this nice tag. We'll ink it up so we can cover up any white around the edges that are left over from cutting, and just make it nice and vintagey. I'm using walnut stain, and then we can just put our tags right in the back, just like that. So I am a person that when I make my journals, I love lots of tags. So this is a perfect way to use up some of your junk journaling envelopes and at the same time make them functional, not only for this beautiful focal piece that we see here, where you can choose to put in whatever you want to put in to show through that. You could put peekaboo images of children. You could put more florals through there if you have a special paper that you like, or even something that has some writing or some poetry on it. Any of those things would look so cool showing through an envelope, I think. I'm going to peel this last piece of greenery if I can get it peeled. I ordered these from Temu, and I really want to get a couple more of them. So I am very much a fan of having leaves in my projects. So I really love this one, and I hope you do too. And I love how even the tea paper shows here. Really nice. So there are 3 versions for you of how you can use your window business envelopes to create something fun for your journals. You can use this as your focal point for a big one, plain background. This one, we can bend down that top part and make a pocket so that you can stick all kinds of cute little things in there, since this is kind of a neutral background. And then lastly, we can design this with a side pocket on the back and put our tags in it. So you have 3 options there, and I hope this gives you some ideas. These window envelopes, the original idea or the original video I watched was from Kathy's Garden, but hers were done differently than mine. So it's always nice to see how other creators make their projects and get a different point of view. So I hope you all enjoyed this little project. And then just so you will know what video this came from, I'll make sure I put Kathy's link at the bottom so you can see how she makes hers. Also, I am going to make sure you check out Kim's coffee shop, because she has those really pretty wildflower images in her shop. I don't know if they're membership or free. There may be some of both. But there you go. I had so much fun doing these, and it's kind of like the booklets that I learned from her. I could do a ton of them. So it's definitely a fun mass making project. And then you can stick these in your ephemera box, and when you're ready to design a journal, you have all the extra fun pieces that you need to either clip in, sew in, put in a pocket, add as an extra, what have you. So I hope you really enjoyed that. There's one other thing I wanted to share with you is I have made a couple new digitals, and I've been waiting to present them to you before I actually put them in my coffee shop. There is one set that's already there, and encourage you to go to my website. Or it's not a website, it's actually on Facebook. It's a Facebook group called Lilac Livery Lane Arts. That's where you can post your videos if you'd like someone else to see them. That's where you can chat about different things that work for you or don't work for you. It's where you can promote your Etsy shop. You can promote your digitals that you made. Anything that you'd like pretty much goes, as long as we're kind and courteous to everyone and friendly. I don't really like the foul language thing and that kind of stuff, so we want to keep that out of the group, which I find most groups are pretty good about that anyway. So the first little set of digitals I call these my pinkies and blues, because the dresses on here do have a pink and blue hue to them. They're just little girls, different views, hair up, hair down, just cute little vintage children. So they will go in my coffee shop. I had also been watching, and please don't hate on me, I'd been watching Game of Thrones again, and I think when I watched Game of Thrones the original time, it was not through the series, it was a binge watch, but I must have watched it on a different channel where it wasn't quite as gruesome. Now, with it being only on HBO, there were so many scenes that I had to just scroll through because they didn't really... I already knew what the story was. There were just certain things that I wanted to see and how they turned out again. And of course, everybody was in love with Jon Snow. So anyway, these made me think of Arya and Sansa Stark. And that was my inspiration for these. So they just look like Scottish girls from the Scottish Highlands, or someone in Ireland. Just the beautiful green, luscious scenery, and the girls, they're just so cute. So those will go in. This is one set. These are my oddities and peculiarities. The children, they just are so adorable. And this one cracks me up because I can see some kid ripping their hair bow out, and that's how their picture ended up. Just kind of some odd little children that I thought would be fun to use if you had a particular type of journal that you were working on. This is a yellow series of some kind of steampunk fantasy children, if you want to use that word. They came out really nice with a flowy bottom to their dress, but then the hardness of the armor for the top. So I really like those. And these little girls were done similar, and I call this my Fierce collection because these little girls just look like they're ready to give you a piece of their mind. So I think it would take a special project for some of these, but they are done more in a shabby steampunk type of design. So I hope you enjoy those. Here's another sheet of them where you can see some of the girls a little bit bigger. This one, she just is like nobody's business. And I have some of these done in different shapes and different sizes. So when I add them to my shop, you'll get more than just 1 or 2 pages. So those are the ones I wanted to show you today. I don't think I have any more that I haven't posted, but I'm going to get those posted on my shop for you so that you can enjoy them. And there are still several designs on there that you may love, free or otherwise. So if you have a special project that you're looking for and you need special digitals for it, you know, check out my coffee shop, Kim Newberg's coffee shop, and my friend Caroline's coffee shop. And they're always listed at the bottom of my video as well. So that's all I have for you tonight. I hope you enjoyed this little project and our time together. I hope it sparks your creative juices and gets you in the mind for doing some fun creative crafts for November. I will be here probably tomorrow. And I'm going to start working in my mixed media journal, and I'm really excited about my first project there. So I have already decided what I'm going to do for that. So I can't wait to share that with you. And I hope you all have a wonderful evening. Thank you so much for tuning in. Bye for now.